Today I want to explain a small project so that you can understand how the things are going to uh, the project can be done. As I mentioned, we are going to see some projects in the coming classes. Let me start with very small project. So in this, simply we are going to store the data in the database. The data will be given from the GUI form, and it will be stored in a database. So that is the objective of this project. So let me share my screen. As I mentioned this in uh, Jupyter. Yesterday we seen some examples in Jupyter. Okay, but now I'll explain this project in IDLE, so that you will have an idea how the programs can be done in IDLE and how the programs can be done in Jupyter. So you are in a position to do the programming in whatever the environment you have. It may be Jupyter environment or it may be IDLE environment. You are in a position to do it. Okay, so let me open the project and I'll explain the entire project, what it is doing. So it is user registration, actually, just registration, giving the user details in a form. So this is the form. Okay. So here I am importing tkinter and as well as SQLite and message box. Message box is for displaying information to the user, or giving information to the user. So this is a geometry, the size of the window, and the title name is the form name is user registration form. Okay, so what are the details we are asking from the user? So let me show you the details here. Okay, so let me run this first so that you can understand what it is going to do. So this is the interface. This is the GUI. Okay, so we are going to register this details. We are going to ask these details from the user. So we are asking first name, last name, middle name, date of birth, gender, and city. State is actually here. We'll fill all the details in the state, right? Next, contact number and project name. Okay, this is just simply asking the user to give some details so that all the details will be registered for the particular user. Okay, so this first name, middle name, last name, all these are labels. This is a text box and this is a text box, and this is a date of birth is a text box again. City is a text box and this is your selector. Okay, so this is drop down box and this is a text box, and all our text boxes, these are radio buttons. So now let me, this is the interface. I think already you know how to design this interface, as we already worked with some forms in tkinter. We created some registration forms, we created some login forms, we created some other forms, right? So this is you can design. Maybe you can use your coordinate layout, or maybe you can use your grid layout. That is up to you. Okay, so I hope all of you able to design this, right? First, let me know how many of you are able to design this. All of you are able to design this. Can I get the answers in the chat box? Already we did some forms in tkinter. Actually, similar type of forms already we did by using text boxes, labels, checkbox, radio button, and so on. Okay, because this class is very important. If you want to develop any project by your own, you should know how it can be done. So this is a project only. Of course, it's a small project. Tomorrow you are in a position to do these type of projects only in your industry also. You go to any company, you'll do this type of projects only. Okay, so already yesterday when I discussed about some simple example, user registration or any type of registration, first we should have a database, right? So I created a database here. So this is the database. You can see here. Database name is form.db. Form.db is the database. So in form.db, I have a table, right? What is the table? Table is a student table. So you can see here, student table is there. And what are the fields in student table? So in student table, I should have the same fields. Already I inserted some data here. So this is a table already I created. Yesterday already I told you in Paint also how we are going to store the data in any database table. You should have respective column in the table. So if you see here, okay, so now you can see here. So for each and every field, there is a column. If you see here, this first name is there, right? So whenever I entered first name here, this should be stored in this column, first name column. Next, middle name is there. Whenever I given this middle name, it should be stored in middle name column. And last name is there. Whenever I given this last name, it should be stored in last name column. Date of birth. Whenever I enter date of birth, it should be stored here. And gender. Whenever I enter something, it should be stored here. Contact number. Okay. City, state, project. All these are. It should be stored here. Let me give one record. First name. I'm giving my details. So these are the details I'm giving. All of you please see here. The details what I'm giving, user registration, I'm giving my details. Okay, first name, last name, middle name, date of birth, gender, city, state, contact number, project name I given. And once I given all these details, I'm going to click on submit, right? I'm clicking on submit. Okay. So once I click on submit button, just you can see here, the details, whatever I given, it should be stored this, right? Stored in this table. You can refresh here. So now the location I need to check. Okay, so this is a farm database. I should open this. Let me close this entire window. Again, I'll open this database. So I'm opening this database that is there in advanced Python. And the database is in advanced Python. User registration. This is the database. If you see here, it is created just now 647. Form browse data. So these are the details. So I actually I clicked 4 times. That's why the same details. My details are stored 4 times. So if you see here, these are the details stored 4 times. Let me create one more record. So this is the details I'm giving. I'm clicking on submit. So now see here, these are the details what I given from this program. So these are the details. If you see here, XYZ first name, ABC middle name, last name XY, date of birth, and gender male, and contact number, this details, 131, and city Hyderabad, state Telangana, and project name student. So these are the details I given, and after clicking submit button, these are storing here. For example, if you want to write some statement, you can write some statement also. For example, after clicking submit button, you may want to write some statement. Statement is like okay, user registered successfully, details stored successfully. If you want to write any type of statement, you can write it. I hope you understood, right? At least the concept you understood. You got the concept. What is happening? What is happening? Did you understand? What is the relation between this front end and back end? Here, front end is we are using Python. Back end is we are using SQLite. Of course, yesterday I mentioned there is no connection between Python and SQLite, but we are connecting that Python and SQLite as we required both the data storage space and as well as the logical part. So logic can be written in Python, but the database we are using is SQLite, so that will stores the data. Any doubts? Any doubts? So now tell me what we are supposed to write if I click on this submit button. Programmatically, what we are supposed to do when I click on this submit button. Yesterday already we did the similar type of example. What I am supposed to write in program when I click on this submit button. When I click on submit button, what is happening? When I click on submit button, simply the details will be stored in the database table, right? So how the data stored in a table? What might be the logic? You need to write. Yesterday we discussed about something like command, right? Command. Okay, in command I used to call some function, right? So here also same. We need to call some function for the submit button. So when you click on submit button, it is storing the details in the table. So how it is going to store the details in the submit button? Based on your click event, it is going to store, right? So let me show you that that logic, main logic. So now see here, this is the button. This is very important. So button 1, BUT1 is button 1. It is a button and text is submit. Okay, with the height you can give any type of background color, foreground color, font, all these things. Command is equals to, you can see here, command is equals to what I am calling here a database. What is this database? Database is a function, right? So database is a function. So this is the function. If you see here, what is this database? Database is a function. So def is a function. And what about exit? Exit is one more function. When I click on this, exit, the form will be Okay, the form should be exited from the application. All right. So now here what we need to do here is, okay, so define database. Database is a function. So what I am doing here, name one is equals to fn dot get, means first name I am getting, and name two I am getting middle name, mn means middle name, and name three I am getting last name, and in date of birth I am getting dob dot get date of birth. Next, sex I am getting the value from the radio button, contact number and state, and as well as other values we are getting. And here if you see here, this is a database. Okay, so we are creating the database form.db. In form.db, just I am executing a command. What is the command? I am creating a student table. You can see here, this is a table, create table. So what is the meaning of if not exist? If not exist means, for example, if table is not exist, then only this table will be created. If already you have a table, student table in your database, then it is not going to be created. So that is the reason why you need to write if not exists. If you don't write if not exists also, no problem. It is optional actually. Okay. So here if you see here, what is this? It is first name. It is first name. It is of text. Next middle name. It is of text. Next last name. It is of text. Next date of birth. It is a text. Next gender. It is a text. Next contact mobile number. It is a text. City and a text, and as well as state, and as well as project name. All these are the columns what we have in the database. So these all are the columns: first, last, first, middle, last, date of birth, gender, contact, city, state, project. So these columns I am creating in the table. Okay, this is the code to create. This is the logic to create the columns in the table. Already we know how to create a table, right? So just I'm mentioning column name and the data type. Column name, data type. Column name, data type. Right? Is it clear so far? Is it clear? Okay. Now what is our objective so far? What we did so far? Let me divide this into different modules. Okay. So first step. What is first step here? Step number 1, import required libraries like uh, because we are designing a GUI. Next SQLite 3, and next we need a message box. So this is first step. We need to import all the libraries what you required to implement this project. If you see here, that is what we are doing in this page first. Okay, we are importing T-code, Tkinter, SQLite, and as well as message box. So these are the modules we required to do this project, right? Next, after this, you have to design your step 2. Step 2 is design GUI by using widgets. What we need to do, we need to design GUI using widgets. Okay, what are the widgets? Widgets are maybe text box, label, radio button, checkbox, button, list box, message box, etc. So we need to use all the widgets what we required. By using that widgets, we need to design this form, right? So that is what we are doing actually. So this is what designing the GUI form by using different widgets. So if you see here, these all are the different widgets. These two are buttons, submit and exit, and remaining all are text boxes, labels, radio buttons, okay, and check boxes and so on. Design GUI using widgets. So for designing, you may use two types of layouts. One may be we can use coordinate layout, layout, or grid layout. So we can use any of these layouts to design your form. So I hope all of you understood these two steps, right? All of you understood these two steps. Everyone must understand this project. Then only you can understand the things what we are going to discuss in the next classes. Maybe if you want to do a project by your own, you should know these steps. If you don't know these steps, you can't do any project. Understood? Remaining students? Of course, we did all the steps separately in our previous class, but now we are doing it in a single program. We did this separately. We did separately GUI forms using tkinter, and we did separately database using SQLite. But in this project, we are combining the two things in a single program. That is what this project is all about. Any project is like this only. Okay, so now next step. What will be the next step? So next step is step 3. Step 3 is we need to create a database in the above database. The above database, we need to create a table with the fields same as in GUI. So what is the meaning of this? So step 3 is we need to create a database. So that is what we are doing here. If you see this program, we are creating a database. What is the database we are creating? The database here is, in this example, is forms.db, right? So we are creating forms.db. So this is what the database, forms.db, right? And in forms.db, I am creating a table, right? What is the table I am creating? Student table. So student table, while creating the student table, you must be careful, and what columns you need to create, what columns this table should have. The columns are nothing but what are the fields your GUI having. So these are the fields: first name, middle name, last name. Your table should have all the fields as columns. Your table should have all the fields as a columns. So if you see here, so now see here, so this is a table and this is a table and this is the GUI. So if you see here, all the columns must be there. So first this column is for your first name. Next this column is for your middle name. Next this column is for your last name. And this is for your date of birth. And this is for your gender. And this is for your contact number. And this is for your city. And this is for your state. And this is for your project. So if you see here, whatever the data we are entering in the GUI form, if you want to store all the details what you have in GUI form, all the details should have a column in the database. If there is no column for that particular field, then you are unable to save the data, unable to store the data. So I hope this point is clear to all, right? Is it clear, this point? Maybe you have some question, right? Why we need to create a column for each and every field? Okay, so what will happen if you don't create a column in the database for a particular field? What will happen? For example, I don't want to create a column for this city in the database table. I don't create this city column. Then what will happen? I don't create the city column in the database table. Then what will happen? Anyone? As I'm telling, you need to create each and every column for every field in the form. But you are not interested to create a column for the city. Then what will happen? Anyone? Yeah, that's it. Data will not store. That's it. It is up to us. It is up to us what type of data we want to store in a table. There is no rule, there is no restriction, there is no any particular procedure. It is up to you how many fields you want to store in your table. For example, in the same example, if you want to store only two fields, that is up to you. Then if you want to store only two fields, like you want to store only first name and as well as mobile number, then you can create a table only these two fields. You don't want to store the remaining fields, right? Understood? So that will depends on you only what type of data you want to store. If you want to store all the details, then you need to create a column for each and every field. If you want to store only two fields from this form, then you can create a table with only two fields what you want to store. Understood? Is it clear? Maybe some of you think that we are going to get some error if you don't want to create a table for all the fields. Okay, you won't get any error because and there is no rule also. For example, here how many fields I have in my GUI form? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 fields are there, right? So how many columns I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in the front end, in the form, I have 9 fields. In the table also, I have 9 fields. So is there any condition? Is there any rule like definitely you should have same number of columns in the table? It is not like. It is not like that. There is no rule. There is no condition. It is up to you how many number of fields you want to create, because already yesterday I mentioned SQLite is a database technology and Python is a application development technology. There is no relation between Python and SQLite. Whatever you are doing from this program, SQLite don't know anything, and whatever you are doing from SQLite, Python don't know anything. It is up to you how many number of fields you want to create. So I think it is clear, right? Is it clear? So that is the reason why whenever you are going to register in any website, you may observe some fields are mandatory, star fields, and some fields are not mandatory. So what do you mean by mandatory? What do you mean by not mandatory? Mandatory fields you are supposed to give, and that fields will be stored in the database. The data will be stored in the database. Non-mandatory fields, if you are not given also, your form is going to be submitted. Okay. So your form is submitted means non-mandatory fields, they are not storing in the database. They are not maintaining the database. Is it clear? In real time, I am explaining in real time. Maybe you want to register for Facebook. You want to create account in Facebook. Then Facebook is going to ask so many details from you. In that so many details, all are not mandatory. Only few details are mandatory, right? So that mandatory details you are going to fill. Some non-mandatory details are there. For example, they will ask address. They may not store address in their database table. They may ask your alternate email ID, alternate mobile number. So they may not store your alternate email ID, alternate mobile number, because they are not mandatory. Even though if you don't enter alternate mobile number, alternate email ID, address, then your account will be created in the Facebook. Why? Because those are not mandatory. Those are not compulsory. Right? Means not compulsory means what? Not compulsory means they are not storing in the database table. That's it. Here also, that is up to you how many number of fields you want to store and how many number of fields you don't want to store. If you want to store all the fields, you can store. If you want to store only few fields, that is up to you. So I think it is clear, right, so far? So that is the next step. What is the next step? We need to create a database. And in the above database, we need to create a table with the fields same as in GUI. Right. So next step, once we created this, so now, if you see here, after step 3, if you see here, this is what we can call it as. We can call it as GUI, right? GUI development. GUI development. GUI means just I am designing some GUI. So now, from step 3 onwards, what? So now your GUI is ready. So from step 3 onwards, this is database preparation. Database part, right? So database part. So now step 3, database created, table created. Now you need to connect your database. Means connect means you need to store the details given by the user. Step 4 is the details entered by the user on the form should be stored in the table. Okay. So how this can be done? To achieve this, we need to create a function, and that will be called the button event, right? So what function is going to do? So the function is supposed to insert the details entered in the form by the user. That function is supposed to insert the details. Where it is going to insert the details? Insert the details in the respective table. In the respective table. In the respective table entered in the form by the user. Okay. So how? So this is nothing but we need to write insert query in the function. I hope this is clear, right, so far? All of you, please read it step by step. I'm clearly explaining what we are going to do. This is common for any project. This is not only for this user registration project. It is common for any project. First, we must prepare your GUI. Next, you must be ready with your database. Once your GUI is ready, once your database is ready, table is ready, then you need to connect your database with the GUI. Connection means whatever you are entering in your form, that should be stored in the table. So how this can be done? So you need to write a function, and that function will be called in the button. So here button is submit button. So when I click on submit button, the details are going to be stored in the table. So how this will be done? Details storing in the table is nothing but simply insert command you need to write. So this is what we need to use in any project. So I hope it is clear, right? Any doubts? Any doubts so far? So this is the common procedure to be followed for any type of project. Is it clear to all? Any doubts, please let me know in the chat box. So that is what we are doing here. That is what we are doing here in the button. Okay, in the button click event, what I am doing, this is what we are doing. Insert into student. Okay, this table. In the student table, I am inserting the details. What details I am inserting? I am inserting the details that is entered by the user. What is this? So once you see here, what is this? So this name 1, name 2, and so on. What is this? These all are the details given by the user in the form. So name 1, what is name 1? You can see here. What is name 1? Name 1 is nothing but you can see here. Name 1 is fn.get. Fn is nothing but first name. So in the first name text box, whatever you are entering, that will be stored in name 1. Similarly, name 2, you can see here. Name 2 is the second value we are supposed to insert. So name 2, name 3. Name 3 means last name, date of birth. Okay, sex means gender. Next, mobile number, city, state, and okay. So these are the details we are going to insert. We need to write in insert command. Okay. So this is the whole story about this project. So I'll share this project. All of you execute it and go through this project line by line, and you create some few records so that you can understand what is happening, right? So any doubts?